Hello everyone, welcome to GKMath. Let's have another calculus lesson video, and this time it will be about product rule of differentiation. So what is it about? Now this rule only applies to a function that can be expressed as a product of two separate functions. So if you have a function that can be expressed as a product of two separate functions, just like this, if we have y is equal to f of x times g of x, then you can apply product rule. For example, y is equal to x squared minus 1, so this is your one factor, and then the other one is 3x plus 2. So this is a product of two factors, or you may consider these two factors are two separate functions. Now, what is the product rule? What is the rule? So dy over dx, or the derivative of y with respect to x, is going to be equal to, so the first function multiplied to the derivative of the second function plus the second function times the derivative of the first function. Now in symbols, okay, to make it look simple, it looks like this. So this is our f, okay, then multiply to the derivative of g, which is g prime, plus g, which is our second function, times the derivative of the first function, which is denoted by f prime. So it is going to be f g prime plus g f prime. Now let's apply this rule in our first example. So this is our f, this is our g, okay? So it is going to be what? F is our x squared minus 1, so you just simply copy it and then multiply to the derivative of 3x plus 2, which is just 3, and then added to gf prime. So meaning we just have to copy the second function, which is 3x plus 2, and then multiply to the derivative of f, or the first function, which is 2x. Okay, so it will look like this, and of course you have to write it nicely, and the answer is going to be, if you expand this and then you combine the similar terms or like terms, the derivative now is equal to 9x squared plus 4x minus 3. Now let's verify that by using the power rule. So again, we have this function and it is manageable for us to expand this, and it is going to be just a 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x minus 2, which is the expanded form of this. Now we have to apply the power rule in each term, and recall that the power rule is equal to nax to the power of n minus 1 if our function y is equal to ax to the power of n. So this is our power rule. Now let's apply that in each term of our function. So the derivative of 3x cubed is going to be 3 times 3, which is 9x to the power of 3 minus 1, which will turn out to be 9x squared. Okay, and then for the second term, the derivative of this is 2 times 2, which is 4x to the power of 1, and then the derivative of negative 3x is negative 3, the derivative of negative 2 is just 0. Okay, so we got similar answer. Now let's have this first set of examples. Okay, so differentiate the following with respect to x using product rule. So the first one is this, okay, wherein you can see that there are two factors, so you can apply the product rule. Second one is the same thing, all right, so we have two factors here. And then for number 3, okay, so it is not yet in factored form, so this might involve factorization, all right? So take a look at this, all right, so that you can practice applying the product rule. All right, so we have to copy first the function 5x cubed. Okay, so we are considering this as our first function, which is our f, and then this is our second function, which is our g. Okay, so the rule says that copy the first function and then multiply this to the derivative of the second function. So the derivative of this is negative x, okay, then plus, okay, plus we have to copy now the second function and then multiply this to the derivative of the first function, which will be 15x x squared. Okay, that is correct. Now the next thing to do is just to put it nicely. Okay, so this will become negative. Okay, expand all of this and then combine the similar terms, and then the final answer will be negative 25 over 2x to the power of 4 plus 15x squared. Okay, now let's go to number 2. So the derivative of y with respect to x. So okay, again copy the first function, and then this is going to be multiplied to the derivative of the second function, which is going to be 3x squared minus 1, then added to, okay, copy now the second function, and then multiply to the derivative of the first function, which is going to be 8x minus 3. Alright, then once again combine, expand. Okay, so the result is going to be 20x to the power of 4 minus 12x cubed minus 9x squared plus 6x minus 1. Alright, so let's have number 3. Okay, so now let's factorize this, and then we can see that x squared is our greatest common factor, and then it is going to be like this. Now it is in factored form, therefore we can now apply the product rule. So since our function is f of x, so the notation for the derivative is going to be f prime of x, so which is equal to, again, referring to this x squared, you copy it. Derivative of the second function is going to be 4x cubed minus 4x, then copy the second function, then multiply to the derivative of x squared, which is 2x. Okay, then once again copy this, sorry, expand and then combine the similar terms, which is going to be equal to 6x to the power of 5 minus 8x cubed plus 8x. Now this can be verified by looking at this, and then you just simply apply the power rule, and then you will get the same answer anyway. Alright, now we can also have product and chain rule. So we can have a function wherein you have to apply two rules, the product rule and the chain rule. Okay, so differentiate y is equal to x minus 3 squared times 5 minus 2x to the power of 5 with respect to x. Okay, so we learned chain rule last time, so better recall it before you proceed to this video. Now okay, so x minus cube quantity square, so this is going to be our f, alright? And then, of course, the other one will be considered as our second function, which is g. Now, the product rule, once again, is fg prime plus gf prime. Okay, now as you can see, x minus 3 to the power of 2, obviously we have to use chain rule for this. Okay, so the dy dx now is, okay, copy f and then multiply to the derivative of g. Alright, g prime. The derivative of that is apply the chain rule, which is going to be 5 times 5 minus 2x to the power of 5 minus 1, which is 4, times the derivative of the one inside the bracket, and that is negative 2. Okay, now added to, this time we have to copy the second function 5 minus 2x to the power of 5, and then multiply to the derivative of x minus 3 to the power of 2, in which you have to apply the chain rule, and the derivative of that is going to be 2 times x minus 3 to the power of 2 minus 1, which is just 1, and then multiply to the derivative of x minus 3, which is 1. Okay, so now let's simplify what needs to be simplified. So this is going to be 5 times negative 2, which is negative 10, x minus 3 to the power of 2 multiplied to 5 minus 2x to the power of 4. Now at this point, you don't need to expand this to binomial expansion. Okay, then plus, all right, so 2 times 1 is 2, then multiply to 5 minus 2x to the power of 5 times x minus 3. So this is already our final answer, okay, as the derivative of the given function. Now let's have the second set, okay? Differentiate the following with respect to x using product and chain rule. Let's have number 1 and number 2, okay? Now look at number 1. Number 1, it will be easier to differentiate this if we express the square root of x plus 5 as x plus 5 to the power of 1 half. Alright, so we have now two factors. Okay, so again, this is our f and this is our g. So the dy dx is equal to copy f, okay, then multiply to the derivative of g, which in which we have to apply the chain rule. And it is going to be times 1 half times x plus 5 to the power of half minus 1, which is negative half, and then multiply to the derivative of x plus 5, which is 1. Then added to, okay, copy the second function, okay, then multiply to the derivative of x cubed, which is just a 3x squared, okay. Now let's put it or write this more nicely. Okay, so 1 half times 1 is 1 half. Now this is a negative power in which you can actually bring it down to the denominator to make the index positive. So it is going to be x cubed all over 2 times the square root of x plus 5. Okay, now plus 3x squared times the square root of x plus 5. So this is already our final answer. Okay, now let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 is, okay, 1 over x squared times 1 minus x. Okay, so there's a division involved. Now for us to convert the division to multiplication, what we can do is we bring up the denominator to numerator, provided that the index will become what? Will become negative, okay? Because from positive to negative. So we write it to its opposite sign, okay? The index. So it is going to be equal to what? Equals x to the power of negative 2. So from positive 2 becomes negative 2. And then 1 minus x to the power of positive 1 becomes 1 minus x to the power of negative 1. So this is easier to look at. It's easier for us to apply the product rule, okay? So you can only see the operation of multiplication in between the two factors, right? So applying the product rule, once again, this is our f, then this is our g, and the first thing that we need to do is copy the first function and then apply chain rule to get the derivative of 1 minus x to the power of negative 1, which is negative 1 times 1 minus x to the power of negative 1 minus 1, which is negative 2, then multiplied to the derivative of 1 minus x, which is negative 1, then plus, okay, this time copy the second function, then multiply to the derivative of x to the power of negative 2, which is negative 2x to the power of negative 3. Okay, so now don't be worried about this. Okay, let's put this nicely. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Okay, so that will just be x to the power of negative 2, 1 minus x to the power of negative 2 plus, okay, so this one is minus, so plus minus it becomes negative here, 2x to the power of negative 3 times 1 minus x to the power of negative 1. Now if you want, we can make all the indices positive, okay, by bringing them down to the denominator. Okay, now let's take a look at the first term. So x to the power of negative 2, bring it down, will become 1 over x squared, and then 1 minus x to the power of negative 2, bring that down also to the denominator to make it positive, to have a positive index 2. Okay, now the next term, so we have a minus here, and then bring this down to make it positive 3, then bring this also down to make it positive 1. So in that case, it will become 1 over 2x cubed times 1 minus x. Alright, so That's it for today. I hope that you learned the product rule of differentiation, and then next time we will learn about the quotient rule of differentiation. All right, so see you again next time. Thank you very much. Bye.